Morning, everybody. Gonna get this filmed. I don't know when exactly I'll be able to release it, but I'm gonna get it out before I go to work because couldn't do it yesterday. Got a last minute call that I had to film an audition for a pierogi commercial that took me forever to do, but it's done. Who knows if I'll get cast, but it's done on time, so no one can yell at me or hit me with a cane. So, as I said in my last video, there's now this big proliferation of narc parents whining on YouTube about their children going no contact and trying to shift blame onto the victim. Nothing new for a narcissist, but it does raise the question, considering that the vast majority of these whining, estranged narc parents are of the baby boomer generation. Why now? Because, no contact's been a thing for a while. I mean, granted, the terms we use in narcissistic abuse recovery groups haven't really been known much past 10 years ago. And, knowing the tactics of the narcissist and how to go no contact and all that, that's relatively new. But it's still been over a decade. So why now? Why now are the boomers in such a panic? Well, because enough of us have spoken up. Enough of us have gone no contact, have spoken about the abuse we endured, have told our stories, have gotten others to speak up. Because as I've said, and everybody else who does videos like this said, or at least people my age and older, when we were growing up in like the 90s, early 2000s, nobody knew what this was. We thought we were the only ones. We knew something was wrong. We didn't know how to explain it. And we thought nobody else would understand. And we were made to feel that way. But after, 10 years of speaking out, narcissist has become a pejorative. Wasn't always that way. In the heyday of the boomers, the Reaganite 80s, or the Thatcherite 80s, if you're across the pond, greed was good. That was literally their motto. Greed, excess, whoever dies with the most toys wins. Look at what I have. Look at my stuff. I'm better than you because of my stuff. Don't you wish you had my stuff? My whole value is based in my stuff. Because by and large, boomers' whole existence are based on keeping up with the Joneses. My mother certainly was, and she was a very, very true borderline. So, again, why now? Well, they're getting older. They know their time's running out. And as I've said, with exposing narcissists in general, be it parents, bosses, abusers of any kind, particularly ones with power and influence, what are they most concerned about? You're supposed to answer me, oh wait, I'm recording this so you can't. Their legacy. Legacy outlives you. So what they're trying to do now, specifically by trying to shift blame, now they always shift blame, but this is shifting blame with people who no longer speak to them. It's not like shifting blame in the heat of the moment, calling them out. They're trying to shift blame onto the victims to repair their image because they know they're not going to be around much longer. And they have to discredit the victims. If they can discredit their victims, shift the blame, then, they can die idolized as the holier than thou saints that they all see of themselves. Because remember, the narcissist and the narcissist's mind, particularly the narcissistic baby boomer, everything they've ever done in their mind is by definition the greatest thing that's ever happened, and it cannot be outdone. It cannot even be matched. It's just, it's all anointed. It's all divine. They are the chosen ones. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to discredit us speaking out to repair their image. Because they know, and I can attest to this myself, they know that when they're gone and there's no more threats of their freakouts or narcissistic rage or retaliation, people will talk about the things they weren't willing to talk about before. That's certainly what happened when my mother died. Neighbors and stuff that were all, concerned about preventing chaos and infighting within their precious group, which I don't understand, but, I'm an INFJ loner, which my mother always hated. But, once that person's gone, there's no fear of not speaking out. You know, it happens with you know, like famous people all the time, politicians, actors. As soon as they're gone, their secrets are exposed. Better to do it while they're alive. Watch, make them make them answer for what they've done, and make them lose that adoration that they love so much. So that's what they're trying to prevent. They're trying to save their images. And also in part because, again, with the narcissistic parent in particular, they see you as their property. And, you know, this, I don't mean to offend anybody when I say this, but the best metaphor or comparison I can give is the narcissistic parent views you as property. So if you're the adult child who's gone no contact, they essentially view you as a runaway slave. You know, that you have no right to leave and you must come back and live the life that they told you. That's how I was, you know, when I went no contact the first time at 19. It's like, how dare I move out of this area and not, you know, work the job and interact with the people that they choose. That's how it is too, because if you're the black sheep and you get away, you know, as I just said, you can expose their truth and get people to see things that they don't want to see or that they may not notice. But also they lose their supply. And they need that supply. It's the best drug in the world for them. And they go through withdrawals when they don't have it. So that's another thing, you know, why it's happening now. And another big reason why it's happening now. Why are all these, you know, boomers trying to, you know, shift the blame and play victim? Well, not only are they themselves, the narcissistic boomer parents, on their way out, but so is baby boomer rule, baby boomer leadership. They can't hold on much longer. They're old, they're infirm, and it's noticeable. Look at the, you know, regardless of what your politics are, and, you know, I am a progressive and therefore no fan of neoliberal corporatism and therefore no fan of Biden. But even if you are a, you know, Clintonite, you have to admit Joe Biden's a demented walking death rattle. You know, now, a lot of Republicans rightfully point this out, but then they'll wrongfully say, well, we've never had a president before that's this, you know, mentally gone. Yeah, we have. It was Reagan. Now, to be fair, Reagan wasn't this bad in his first term, but in his second term, he certainly was. Reagan, like Biden, you know, Biden should not run for a second term, as Reagan shouldn't have due to mental capacity. But beside the point, the broader picture is they know, you know, the world we live in the Western world, as I've said before, is of boomers, by boomers, for boomers. But that's not going to last much longer. The ones in leadership that have been there for decades are getting old and infirm. Boomers keep dying. Younger people keep becoming of voting age. They can't hold on to that majority much longer. They just simply don't have the numbers. And the ones in the seats, obviously, they'll rig things to stay in power, but they can't live forever. Or they become so infirm that, you know, even their loyalists have had enough. And they know that's coming. And they know things are going to change for the first time in roughly 40 years. They don't want that. As I've said before, they'd rather everybody else struggle than for them to feel uncomfortable. Not, you know, change that affects them even because they're retired and stuff, but change that just makes them feel uncomfortable. Because remember, all that matters is the narcissist. All that matters is the baby boomer. So them trying to play the victim, they get that victim supply by doing it too. But it's more or less their last stand to keep the world as they want it, which is focused solely around them, where, you know, they're like the ruling class, and everybody else born after them is seen as second-class citizens, where, like, you can't challenge the word of a baby boomer. It's like, well, you did this. No, it didn't happen that way, and I'm a baby boomer, therefore I'm right. They know it's coming to an end, so they're going to fight with everything they have, with their, you know, decrepit old claws holding on to the status quo. All I can say is keep speaking out. Keep exposing the truth you have. If you have evidence, great, expose it. We all can say that have been through this. We all can say and expose things that they can't answer for. And at the end of the day, they don't have anything you want. You have every right to speak up. Now on with this. Another guilt trip they're playing now is telling you to get over it. No, they don't get to tell you when you have to get over abuse that you went through. Only you can decide when you're ready to get over it. So expose your truth, live with it the best you can, and keep these monsters from having future victims or clinging on to power and further destroying the world for their own narcissism, for their own comfort, all because they anointed themselves the chosen ones. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It's free. It helps the channel grow. My channel gets no love from YouTube because I say things that are controversial and true, and I'm not here for flashy entertainment, clicky bait things, because I don't have the budget or the skills or the editing team to do it. Mainly the skills. But, you know, like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Helps my modeling career, which is important. And you'll see why. You'll see why. There is a motive behind it. And it's not wealth. But you'll see. Yeah, that's a clue. That's a big clue. You know, you should all know this symbol by now if you watch my channel. Yeah. That's about it. As I said, I'm going to try to do a video at least every other day. We'll see how it goes.